Okay, looks like today I am a video making machine because I feel as though I did enough today, and I'm in this talkative mood at this moment, so I thought I'd make a few videos. I took a nap earlier, didn't last for very long, but hopefully I'll get some good sleep tonight. I'm hoping, because I didn't sleep very well last night. So I wanted to follow up on this. I know that the people who got involved in my targeting, they question a lot of my beliefs, and I'm sorry. And I'm trying to be as much tension as there is between me and this particular group, and no, I don't want to be friends with some of these people, but I am going to say that, you need to put this in perspective. I'm not interested in arguing or keeping the argument going. And the job posting that I was talking about earlier today, that could have very well not been meant for me specifically, but I understand the kind of influence that Karen Johnson, Steve Murray, and all these other people have within this community. So this is the reason why I make these videos. And I understand that this went pretty big. It was blew up to whatever. Me not choosing to, what's the word for it? When you are a targeted individual, and I've had this issue happen before, and I mentioned it in one of my videos, I think a few of them. I remember going to the doctor many years ago, and then having a doctor inject me with something that I didn't ask to be injected with, okay? When you're a targeted individual, just like, when you're dealing with people, like the high part of my targeting, right? I would go into like a grocery store and somebody would say something that was rude, offensive, completely, inappropriate, because obviously I wasn't responsible for any of that garbage. But you see how this sort of hatred spreads. And just like somebody can slight you in the workplace, they can slight you at the grocery store. Don't think for 1 minute a physician will not kill you if they have the chance to. Now, that's not a joke. And I don't know if that's what their deceitful intentions are, but when I see things like this after being gang stalked, you wonder, okay? No, I don't. But aside from that, I remember doing a lot of research back, I would say around 2011, 2013, around that area. I wasn't doing too good. So I started looking at medical alternatives. And yeah, I believe in alternative medicine. There was times where conventional medicine probably would be helpful. Like, for example, I mentioned if I had a clogged artery, I cannot unclog that artery myself, okay? But like, for example, if I had cancer, I would not take the conventional medicine route. I would take natural remedies to resolve that. I'm very leery of the medical industry. I don't really feel as though they've made enough contributions to impress me. So I'm somebody who believes in taking herbs and other forms I seek other forms of healing. That's my choice, okay? But when you deal with people who have different views, or they don't understand where you're coming from, they feel as though we need to try to change her. I know people think, well, she needs to change her life. Look, I'm just like anybody else in this country. I go to work, I come home. Okay? I go to work, I come home. Maybe you feel as though your choices, life choices, and like I said, this ad today that was posted may not have had anything to do with me. It may not have. Okay? But when you deal with gang stalking, you wonder. So I have my personal choices that are based on my own research, okay? And they're my personal choices. That's my choice. But when you have people who are, this is one of the reasons why I didn't think it's a good idea for, when people are out choosing your jobs or whatever, and that's all very well and good, but when you think about those sort of jobs, you do not ask me to make any sort of sacrifices that is going to reduce the quality of my life. Now, having a physical is not going to reduce the quality of my life. Not necessarily. If you're a targeted individual, it might, because you can't trust a darn person, I'll tell you that. But that's not going to. But like when you say things like, well, she can't go for a walk, or she can't go to Trader Joe's, or she can't, you're infringing on my rights. That's my right to do that. Okay. Now, sometimes maybe somebody might be competitive against you in some way, and they're making choices based on their own personal interests. This is why we have the law, because you can create some sort of oppression to a person, which obviously this is the case, right? This is why, okay? When you do a job, I go in and I work for an employer. The exchange is, and the only exchange is within a network. It should be, okay. You're within a network. Your network uh, knows, the kind of work that you do, the kind of skills you have, and you do a job, and then you get paid for it. It's called compensation. I I do vote. What I'm sacrificing to the employer is my time, okay? My time, 8 hours a day or possibly even more to process either, I don't know, whatever. Whether that be me doing writing work or it's me doing accounting or it's me doing whatever it is I'm doing, my work is what I give to the employer. And in return, that's my sacrifice. Sacrifice is the time that I spend doing it, okay? Based on the guidelines of the law. And then they, in turn, give me my pay, which is compensation. There should not be any other form of, what do you call it, any other sort of agreements. Like when some people say, well, I think Marie needs to change her life. You don't give a person a job to change their life, okay? Because obviously certain things that people do in their own personal preferences is not in accordance with somebody else. And if it's not, obviously they have the right to work that job or they don't. Okay, but when you put a person in a job, you force them into that. And like I said, I don't know about that job that was posted earlier today, but I'm just saying, for example, okay, obviously I am not on board with those sort of things. So you want to find a place where you can like chill out for a while, like you want to go to your job and work your hardest while you're at the job. That is it. That is the only form of exchange you do. Like, I think this network has abused me to the point of where, it's just literally unreal and unspeakable. There are certain guidelines that you are to adhere to when it comes to accepting employment. But those are my personal choices. I don't like to deal with the medical industry. And I'm not saying that they haven't done any good. It's just that I would prefer not to deal with that. I don't deal with that. And especially when you're gang stalked, I highly recommend you avoid those sort of things as much as you possibly can. Sometimes you can't, okay? But if you can, I wouldn't do it. What was the other thing? I already talked about the marijuana thing. But, I don't know, like, if this person was put up this post to be malicious or whatever, I don't know. I have a good life. I mean, I live a good life. I think I have morals, Maybe they don't, you don't agree with my morals, and that's fine. You don't have to, But I never wanted my morals to be put on public display or be open for debate either, And this is why, I resent the people coming into my workplace, bullying me over things that I have the right to do. Let's just say, for example, I change my way of life. That doesn't mean I'm going to gravitate back to this old collective group that I used to know. I don't know. I can't. I can't wrap my brain around somebody who wants to harm another person just for the sake of it. And I think there's a lot of people who might be angry about what I said. But you got to understand, I got brought into something that I didn't deserve. Like, I had literally nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with Bruce, nothing to do with his wife, nothing to do with my ex-husband. If he's married right now, I have nothing to do with his wife, the girl, Selena Bruce. I don't have anything to do with these people who have this vendetta against me. Sometimes when somebody hates you, they don't care if you're right or wrong. The fact is they want to punish you regardless. Or they're frustrated because you, in their mind, they think, well, she stood up for herself, therefore she's the winner. Okay? Because everything I said was right? I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to get on with my life, is what I'm saying. And, when I feel as though I've dealt with this for such a long time, you would think I would not have dealt with this. I mean, I would have been able to, move on with my life sooner than this. But I haven't. And yeah, I do. I mean, I'm right. I mean, show a little bit of humility here. I am right in this issue, meaning I didn't deserve any of it. So why constantly badger me? If that's the case, like I said, I don't know, but when you deal with gang stalking, you are never completely sure as to what's going on. Because, you know, I think Karen Johnson felt, like I said, when I left her company, some people feel slighted over that. And I remember talking to my ex-husband when all this happened, and I kept thinking, I was telling him that the people were at work were acting crazy, and I realized that my ex-husband was involved in it. And they do a lot of lying. They don't tell you what's going on. They pretend they don't know or whatever. But he said that it was my sister, right? He goes, it was your stinking sister. Okay, but he never elaborated on that. And I can think, how in the world would he know? You know, and sometimes people slip up and they say things, okay? I think sometimes, you know, me moving on with my life had nothing to do with trying to slight somebody or trying to harm somebody or me trying to, I never, that was not the intention. I, you know, would have been happy to stay in Lancaster when I left the Edwards Air Force Base job, but I looked for jobs. And that's one of the reasons why I moved over here, because I think they were blocking my employment at that point. I don't know. But I moved here just for the cost of living, and the jobs were plentiful. Believe it or not, I would say Bakersfield, when it came to employment opportunities back in the day, was far more plentiful than the Antelope Valley. The Antelope Valley had a very small industry that was, you know, running the, well, it wasn't a small, it was actually pretty big. I mean, the aerospace industry back then was pretty much fueling the Antelope Valley, okay? Obviously, there's other industries that now that are in the Antelope Valley that are probably thriving well, but I haven't really done a whole lot of research on it. But still, I needed to get off the military base, so that's why I came here. You know, some people, I don't know what it is, but, you know, I can't go on my entire life, you know, absorbing the problems of other people. You know what I mean? And I think in this case, I feel as though I was absorbing somebody else's problem, whether that be some sort of need to compete, which I don't want to compete. Like I said, you know, I just want to live my life and forget and move on. Like, I don't like having to, the reasons why I don't like going into the Indeed.com is because it just brings it all up again. It brings it all up again. Me losing my job over at the farmer's place. Me losing my job at Karen's place. Me, you know, dealing with, you know, going to that pharmaceutical place where this lady was being irrational towards me and bullying me. Me going to Flourishing Art and then people bullying me. Just the whole thing. The whole group following me. I don't need it. I don't need it. It's retaliation. It's over and over and over again, like some sort of need to abuse or some sort of one. I don't want to deal with it. You know, but that's it. You know, when the ideal work network is like you support a person in getting a job, not based on who they're married to, or the purpose of getting them married, or the purpose of bending a person's behavior to accommodate the needs of a prospective, I don't know, marriage mate or whatever it is that people do. And I think some people, in some cases, if this was not malicious, some people mean well. They do. They mean well. But take my advice and the legal counsel that it's not a good idea to do that. It's really not. It's upsetting to me that you have to defend your beliefs in the United States in 2023. But I understand that, you know, when you're dealing with racism, you know, you deal with a lot. Or you deal with a group of people who are part of this network. I believe Karen Johnson has like people who are working to find me jobs or whatever. They're either coming up with ideas to build as a criteria to get a job when these criterias are not necessarily illegal. Like, for example, that job posting that I was mentioning as an example today about the drug testing and the physical. That's not necessarily wrong, okay? But I number one, right now, I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm not lifting 50 pounds. I'm not lifting shit, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. This stress that you guys have caused me, Karen Johnson, you caused me a lot of stress. And I'm telling you, having me not sleeping and all this other stuff, I would not, for somebody who has heart problems in my family, I'm not going to take on any strenuous exercise for good reason. Okay, you think I'm joking about what you guys have done to me and the way you've affected my life. Okay, I'm not joking. I am not joking. I don't see any point in making up stories about stuff like that. What I'm saying is 100% true. And this is one of the reasons why I am concerned about the workforce, because I understand how devastating and harmful it can be to a person's health. Okay? We talk about strokes and heart attacks. Okay? Think about not being able to sleep every day. Think about worrying about the same thing. Think about having all these resentments. Year after year, you're getting somebody who's following you in your workplace, losing job after job after job, starting up so you can be put back in the same bullying environment over and over and over again. Don't you think that that's what causes people to die early? But it is, sometimes when I see ads like that and I wonder who wrote them, I sometimes think that that's their intention. Okay? I didn't deserve any of it. Which we all know. We all know by now I didn't deserve shit. I didn't deserve it. Okay? I'm sorry if my ex, Bruce was he was my ex-boyfriend, okay? He was my ex-boyfriend. He wasn't even my fiance. We were my fiance for a short period of time. I gave him his ring back. Okay? We never got married. I was not attached to Bruce. I am not in competition with Sarah. I don't even know Sarah. Never met Sarah. Never spoken to Sarah. Never came face to face with Sarah. I know nothing about this woman. Okay, when Joel and I broke up, I was running for my life. I just wanted to be safe. Okay, that's the only thing I kept thinking about the entire time. I want to be safe. I want to get a job. I want to be safe. I don't ever want to worry about this again. Over and over and over again. I don't want to. You know what I mean? It's not an act of rebellion because I don't want to play the game that Karen Johnson thinks is so fun. Okay? But what you're doing, Karen Johnson, is you're causing me harm. Okay? Harm that I should be compensated for. That's not a joke. I should be compensated for the harm that you've caused. You know, I should be receiving some sort of compensation. Obviously, I don't even know. I don't want to deal with going to lawyers and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. Because you know what? Bringing up the subject is causing me enough depression as it is. You don't know the mental hell that you've caused, Karen, because you don't know how to follow the law. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to bring up an argument, for God's sake, but, my God, you know, the kind of problems and stress that you've caused me, oh my God. All I wanted to do in the very beginning was move down to this little small town, get a little job, make a little home for my son, and that was it. But I've always been interrupted with unnecessary bullshit, arguments, debates, whatever. You know, I am not interested in, you know, converting to anyone's religion. I am not interested in changing my lifestyle for anybody. Okay, I had some people look at me like this network. They're like, well, she's got to do something for me. I am not going to help her. Like, you put me in this situation. Okay, and don't say that you didn't. Okay, the bullying sometimes at some point needs to stop. I didn't do it. I didn't. Okay? No, I don't. You do not. Some people want to sit here and change and live their life. I will tell you, there was a time where I wanted to live my life for my quote-unquote profession because I had the drive and the innocence for it. But now that I understand what that is, I would never want a management position again. And no, I would not see it in my best interest to sit here and like mold and shape me to be somebody that you guys want me to be. I cannot do that. But I do have the right to have a job. Okay? I'm sorry I don't look like everybody else. I'm an African American woman. Even I don't like to call myself African American, but you know what? I don't look like everyone else. I have darker skin than everyone else. Okay? Regardless of what we're wearing. Yay. I have the right to my religious beliefs, and I don't, you know, it's just been too much, man. It's just been way, way too much. And I get tired of that. So, you know, I'm sorry that all of this stuff happened, you know. But if I didn't say anything, it would be even worse. You know what I mean? It would be even worse. I'm going to tell you, this network, because of their incompetence, and this is not me trying to bring up an argument, but because this should be an example. When people hire people or people want to make hiring decisions, this is not the kind of criteria that you use in order to do it. And I think that a lot of this is going on in the United States or everywhere, basically. People are bitching about their jobs, you know, and I'm saying, you know, this situation needs to be made better. People need to understand what it is that you can use, you know. But basically, here's the deal. Whatever I do for an employer, whether that be writing, you know, doing writing, whether it be accounting, whatever it is, or a combination of both, okay? Whatever it is I do, my job, my contribution, my work is what it is. I am not there for any other reason but that, okay? If you're gonna give me a job, that's the only thing. It's my skills for pay. That's it. My time for pay, okay? Not my clothes, not my ability to go for a walk, not my car, not my hair, none of it. It's my right, okay? Think about it. Anything that infringes on a person's right, you can't ask for, okay? And when people do these sort of things, and I've said, like I said, I'm going to clarify this one more time. I have no idea if that ad that I applied to today was for my perp or not, but sometimes I wonder, okay? I don't know. But whatever it is, you know, obviously when I see things like that, I have right to feel the way that I do, because there's obviously this clan, this group that wants to do something to me that I don't deserve, and I will not comply with it, okay? So I don't know what you're going to do, Karen Johnson. I think you're the one who's in charge of all this. Hopefully you get it cleared up soon. But I need to figure out what I'm going to do. You know, I can't be on unemployment forever. Not just because it's you know, I'm tired of being at home. But at the same time, I would like to work from home. But I'm at a point where now I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Because when illegal issues or actions get taken against a person, it does skew things. It's like, well, because it's not a regular job search. It's not a regular job search. You know what I mean? It's not. You know, it's based on these little icky picky, I don't know, Rumpelstiltskin type stupid concessions that should not even be placed. You know what I mean? The deal is, if I'm processing payables, if I'm doing receivables, if I'm processing payroll, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you my time. I'm not giving you anything else. I'm going to wrap this video up.